Scott Frazier here with Richard Javitz, and we have done a leisure pool for Richard and his wife, Billy Joe. She could be walking through the door any moment now. She's running a little late coming home from work. But Richard, could you kind of share with us what was your buying process? Like when you first started thinking, okay, Billy Joe and I, we want a swimming pool. Share with us what your buying process was that led you up to leisure, and then also what led you to finally purchase a leisure swimming pool.
Well, my wife being the researcher, she went online immediately and looked at all the different companies, decided, looked at reputation, looked at the reviews, decided if we wanted a fiberglass, concrete, what pluses and minuses were both. Got some pricing on some. Did the walk-ins, went to the showrooms and everything. Heard about y'all. Went to your showroom right away, actually on a Sunday, and we liked what we saw as far as the designs were concerned. Got a pamphlet, and I think within 2 or 3 days of getting that and talking about it, we called you up to come on over and give us an estimate.
Super.
And after talking to you and finding out about the warranty and the research that you from what you had with the contracts from other pool companies and whatnot, seeing the differences and everything, it really sold us on leisure.
Super.
So.
Now, you've decided to buy a leisure pool, and then the next step, of course, is us coming out and installing the pool. And this is sometimes where construction goes downhill. There's a lot of customers out there. They do the research that you've done, and sometimes they, make a decision and regret it later. How would you say from start to finish your experience was with leisure?
It was great. We met with Danton and the day before construction began, walked us through what was going to happen, how they were going to come in, what to expect, and sure enough, it was, as he said, the hole was kind of scary to see in your backyard at first, but within a day or two, the pool was in, and it was moving. And you guys didn't take a break, and we were very happy with what came out of it.
And I know sometimes with construction projects, whether it be swimming pools or whatnot, sometimes things don't always go as planned. And this is how consumers can really quickly figure out what kind of company they're dealing with. What were some of the things that kind of popped up, and how did Leisure deal with those?
Well, actually, we had most of the stuff that happened was after the fact. I mean, the pool, we had no issues as far as the pool going in and whatnot. It was once it was done, we had the tanning area over here. There was 2 tiles that had cracked.
Okay.
There was a loose area on the retaining wall, and my wife had noticed that there were some scratches on the bottom from, I guess, when they had put the pool in. But we called Danton and probably got a response from him, if not that day, then the next day afterwards, and y'all came out within a day or two again, and basically, okay, we looked at it. So I mean, half the time it was, yeah, we were already out and fixed it. Did you know?
Yeah.
Because my wife would follow up, and I'd be like, I didn't hear anything, and we talked to Danton, and he's like, yeah, go outside, it's done, and sure enough, the tiles were replaced, the retaining wall brick was solidified. There's still one issue that we talked to Danton about. There's a slight scratch on the bottom. There's like 3 or 4 small ones. But being that it's January,
sure.
He called right back immediately though and said it's kind of cold to get somebody in there right now. So as soon as spring hits, give us a call. We'll come right out, take care of it, and fix you all up and get you ready to go. So
wonderful. So from start to finish, how would you tell your friends or family about leisure pools?
Oh, absolutely. I've told them. I mean, we've had friends come over, family, and it's been like, they've been amazed at what happened, the finished product, because my parents, were here with my kids watching them off and on, and, they saw it from start to finish, and when it finally got done, it was like, oh my God, it looks really good. It's amazing. So it was really good. I mean, I've told everyone at work about how great it was. I've showed them pictures, the process going along, because they're all asking, oh, when's it done, when's the pool party? So, it's December, so we had to wait a little bit, but
sure.
They were impressed too, because a lot of them have been over, and once I showed them pictures in the back, it was like, wow.
Yeah. Well, I know when purchasing a pool, it's generally the second largest investment that you make
Absolutely.
aside from your home. And is this a project that if you were all to move 5, 10 years later, 3 years later into another home, who would you have install your next pool?
You guys for sure. I mean, it was that smooth, and you know, obviously my wife said she'll never move now because we got the pool in here. But no, I mean the process was so. It was just. It was great. We definitely would have you guys do it again if we were to do it again.
Super. And one last question. We deal with all different kinds of clients, right? And for example, what do you do for a living?
I'm a business analyst.
Business analyst. And what does Billy Joe do?
She is a buyer for Delta Produce.
So she's a purchasing agent. So she probably really dug in and did a lot of research, because I've met with purchasing agents before. And they're not the easiest people to get to move forward, you know what I mean,
Right.
with a project
Absolutely.
of this magnitude.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this. In terms of the decision and the investment and whatnot, when you sit back right now and you kind of look at the pool and you look at the investment in the house and whatnot, how do you feel about things?
Really good. I mean, at first it was one of those, God, what do we get ourselves into? 'Cause it is the second biggest investment. But once it's all done and you're looking at it and going, we're gonna have a great summer hitting it, and, jumping in the pool and playing around with the kids and the parties, and it was real well worth it. I mean, we're happy we did it.
It's funny. I mean, it's not funny. It's great that you mentioned the thing with the kids, memories. My wife and I, years ago, we bought a pool.
Oh.
And you cannot replace the memories that you're going to have. And I know you haven't experienced it yet because it's cold right now. But with the children and them having their friends over to play and get in the pool, and you guys always knowing where they're at, and being right here in your backyard. And they're, of course, going to grow up remembering, yeah, we had a pool. It was so much fun. And so that's fantastic to hear. I really appreciate you sharing all this with me. And please tell Billy Joe I said hi.
Well,
and
if she ever makes it home.
And I'm sure this little video that we did of you is going to help out a lot of our other clients that are considering swimming pools and wondering, in today's world, you want to make sure that you have a good job done by the right company.
Absolutely.
And you want to make sure your money's invested well. And so this is fantastic. Thank you so much.
Oh, anytime.
Super.